Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Dorian Show. Gotta check my audio and this sounds good. Guys, let's start off by talking about GBTC or Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust. Are any of you guys still buying GBTC? Leave a comment below. Oh, and make sure you subscribe, like this video, blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to reach 200 subscribers. Anyways, yeah, if you guys don't know what Grayscale is, they have a investment. What do you call it? A vehicle for people to invest in Bitcoin that don't want to buy Bitcoin themselves, which is the GBTC fund. So what's going on right now is that GBTC is supposed to. Ideally they are supposed to track the price of Bitcoin, but because of like the recession recently and multiple fears of what's going on with Genesis and the parent company, I forgot their name right now. Basically, they are basically running out of business, and people are afraid that it's going to affect GBTC, and it's going to affect Grayscale and GBTC. And you might lose all your money, but I don't know. I think I'm not too worried about it. I mean, there is a risk for it, but from what I understand, a lot of people are saying, like in their contract or however they set up the trust, how they set it up is that if they ever, sell off the assets, then they will have to give the money back to the people who hold the fund. So either in Bitcoin or in cash. So that means like if you own shares of GBTC, they're supposed to, if they ever liquidate their Bitcoin, is to give you the Bitcoins or the dollar equivalent of whatever the Bitcoin's worth. So technically, like right now, this might be a great opportunity just to buy some of the shares because they're trading right now today 48% discount. I think right now, let me see what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin at this very moment is currently at $16,700 $16,700 per Bitcoin. So you could get through the GBTC basically a $8,000 Bitcoin. So I don't know. I'm thinking about buying it, but for some reason I want to wait until they are trading at a discount greater than 50. Then I will put a couple $1,000 in there for my Roth IRA. And the reason why I'm waiting for this is because there's a chance that they never sell, or they might never have to liquidate their assets of Bitcoin. And I don't know how long it will be trading at a discount, honestly. You know what I mean? Like we could see the GBTC trading at a 50% discount for a very long time. So, just because I put my money in there doesn't mean it's going to appreciate double overnight or anytime soon. I mean, I hope it does. I assume if I buy GBTC today, I will be able to double my money, even if Bitcoin stays the same price, probably in a couple of years, because at some point we're going to get a recession in the U.S. and then the Fed's going to have to lower interest rates. And once interest rates hit 0%, then we're going to go gangbusters, basically what we've already seen in the past couple of years, where people are just speculating on shit. You know what I mean? People buy a bunch of like all these other coins that no one's heard about. We're going to buy like NFTs, Bored Ape Yacht Club, who, by the way, is getting sued right now. All the celebrities are being sued for Bored Ape right now. I might talk about that later, maybe next time. I don't know too much details about that yet. But yeah, so I see a potential for GBTC on the upside to at least double your money if the price of Bitcoin doesn't change. But I suspect when interest rates go back to zero, then Bitcoin's going to go back. It's going to go up again, right? At least to $60,000 where it was before, maybe even $100,000. Some people think, such as what's her name, Kathy Wood, thinks Bitcoin will hit $1 million a coin by 2030, which seems like a long time away if you're young, but when you're older like me in my mid 30s, 7 to 8 years is not a very long time. It'll go by in a blink of an eye. So yeah, I think there's an opportunity there for GBTC, and I am gonna end up buying some. I don't know when. I say I'm gonna buy some when it hits. It has a discount over 50%, but I might buy some sooner. Maybe I'll buy right after this coming Monday, or after this podcast, so I could, put my money where my mouth is, guys. Um, so why is GBTC trading below NAV? Like that's something that people have been talking about recently. So for the longest time, maybe a couple years ago, GBTC has been trading at a premium, even up to like double the price of Bitcoin. So they were trading around like 30% to 100% the price of Bitcoin. And this happened during the time when there were not any of these crypto trading companies like Coinbase and all these other exchanges. So the only way people were able to get Bitcoin without mining it themselves or getting it from someone peer to peer, which is a hassle to get. Like I admit it. So how they would do it, they're like, oh, you could buy this share of GBTC, and we're a fund that buys only Bitcoin and we never sell. Right? So how do they get their Bitcoin? So this is so crazy, and this is how all these companies were making, just printing money in the last couple of years. So how they get the Bitcoin is they get the Bitcoin from, well, they either buy it or they get the Bitcoin from accredited investors or big hedge funds or big trading companies like 3Arrow, you guys have heard, and BlockFi, Celsius, which I used in the past. They're all dead now. So basically, they're like these they're businesses that are able to buy Bitcoin, and how they do it. They're like, okay, we'll buy Bitcoin and we'll give GBTC Grayscale our Bitcoin, and in return you give us shares in your trust fund, right? However, at the time the GBTC fund was trading at a premium, so like you could immediately get like 30 to 100% cash dollar value of what Bitcoin was costing. So basically, what they were doing was they're like, okay, here they give you the Bitcoin, and in return they give like Celsius these shares in GBTC, and the only caveat is like you can't sell these shares for 6 months, which is fine, right? 6 months to earn 30% is insane or more. So during this time, the last couple of years when interest rates were zero, all these companies were just buying Bitcoin and just giving it over to Grayscale, and then they're getting these funds, and within 6 months they like sell the shares for like 30, 40, 50, 60, even 100% of what their initial cost was. And it was kind of like a cycle because everybody was dying to get their hands on Bitcoin. These companies kept buying Bitcoin, giving it to Grayscale, which drives up the price of Bitcoin, right? So it's just like they're basically printing money. But then, of course, the printing press can't go on forever. You guys remember the meme of Jerome Powell just like the printing out money flying out of the machine? That has to stop at some time, right? And that happened right after COVID. I mean, they were still printing money during COVID. Do you guys remember that? It was insane, just sending out dollars to people. But soon after that, we realized we're in a recession. We're hitting like inflation. It was crazy. It's like 8-9% inflation, which will basically destroy your currency and destroy your country and the economy. And it'll be worse if it was the U.S. Like if our currency like blows up, the whole world is basically fucked, right? Because everybody is like holding dollars. Like the dollar is good as gold according to the rest of the world. Everybody like looks at the U.S. They use our currency because it's the most stable. So anyway, so interest rates start going up. People are cutting jobs. Businesses are losing money. So we're heading towards a recession, and because of that, the price of Bitcoin also goes down, and a lot of these companies have to hold these 6% these GBTC funds for 6 months, and during that time, like the price of GBTC was going down. So now they're like underwater on these funds. So At 6 months, they panic sell. More people sell. Everyday holders like me and you, what do they call mom and pop investors, like we're selling off, right? So the GBTC fund just keeps going down. It is now trading at a discount. Because so many companies were basically buying Bitcoin on leverage because they think, oh, this is guaranteed money. All of a sudden, they're down on money and they're like getting squeezed basically by the interest rates. And then people get scared. People start pulling their funds out from like Celsius, Three Arrow, and BlockFi. And now they're basically bankrupt, right? They took huge loans that they can't pay back. Their customers are afraid and they're taking their money back. They're losing money on their GBTC. So everybody's selling. The price of Bitcoin sell. They have to liquidate their stuff. Bitcoin goes down. All types of cryptos go down. People are pulling out their money. GBTC is going down. So now it's going the opposite way. So that's where we're at. And I don't know. The caveat right now, like people are worried that Grayscale and Genesis, the parent company of Genesis and Grayscale, like they might go bankrupt and they might have to liquidate the Bitcoin holdings on GBTC. I think they hold like 600,000 Bitcoins or some shit like that, which is insane. If they sold all those Bitcoins, like the price of Bitcoin's gonna drop down like sub $10,000 is what most people are talking about. But I mean, I think you can still make money right now if they sold at 10,000. Because the net asset, the discount right now is like 48%, which means you can buy Bitcoin right now for $8,000 through the trust fund. But people don't know. Like they're like, oh, what does like the contract really mean? What can they not do with that? The proceedings from this Bitcoin sold, like do they have to give it back to their creditors? Do they have to pay off the debts of their parent company, or do they just owe that money to us, the people that hold the fund? Grayscale and Genesis hold a lot of GBTC, so like they might have to sell that so they could they could get money for their shares and sell repay their loans and debts. So people are a little bit worried about that. I'm not gonna put all my money in it. Obviously, I might put some money in my Roth IRA to buy some GBTC. I'll buy some on Monday. How about that? At whatever price, I'll buy some on Monday just so I could say I own some. But yeah, it's just kind of crazy. Is crazy how these. I wish I could do what these companies did. Right, I'm not an accredited investor, and I guess a lot of people get fucked. Well, guess what? A lot of people got fucked anyways. Because we were investing and giving our money to these companies like Celsius. I did. I mean, I didn't lose too much money because I got out in time, but. The whole accredited like investor thing sounds so stupid because I could have bought my own Bitcoin and give it to Grayscale back then and got like 30-40% of my money. I mean, the bubble would have been crazier, right? If everyday mom and pop people are just able to just print money, could you imagine inflation being crazier? I mean, it would have popped sooner, but it would have gone higher. I think more people would have gotten rich, and I would like an opportunity to get rich, honestly. It's not like because they don't let me invest in that, I'm like, not taking leverage, right? So basically I was in Celsius. Celsius was borrowing my depositors' money, right? Giving it to Grayscale and other people. And then they were getting like 30% to 100% interest. A 30% to 100% gain on their GBTC. And in return, they were paying me 12% interest rates on my deposits. So they could, right? They're like borrowing from us and then they're getting high yield and then they're bringing the yield back to me. And then people think, everyday people like me aren't getting leverage. It was not true. I was getting leverage too. I was like, oh shoot, Celsius is giving back 12% on their USDC coin. I made videos on this, and I'm like, oh shoot, I'm gonna get a loan. I got a loan from my bank for 3%. And I gave that money to Celsius so I could get 12%. I was arbitraging like their arbitrage. And a lot of people were probably like me too. Like I don't think a lot of people use that move and they're still fucked. I just got lucky because I pulled out all my money like weeks before Celsius went down. And I know I got lucky, but I like to think I was a lot smarter than everyone else. But yeah, that's my little thing on GBTC. I think it's okay to buy. I feel I mean, most things I think they hit like equilibrium. They match their net asset value. I've been doing this with the uranium trust. You know, I buy at a discount, and sometimes it seems like the discount lasts forever, but at some point they hit the par value. So I might buy more of that. I might talk more about uranium next time, but I'm gonna buy some GBTC. Long term, I think Bitcoin is good. Like so many people are aware of it. They're like the Coca-Cola of crypto. You know what I mean? People saw how many people got rich in the last couple of years, and now that it's tanking. Once it hits a certain price, people will be like, "This is my opportunity to get rich." So there are people still thinking you could probably get rich, and there's going to be an opportunity in Bitcoin. I don't know for sure. I still think there's an opportunity. I think for sure Bitcoin's going to hit $100,000 per coin pretty soon. I don't know about $1 million a coin by 2030. That's a little crazy. Kathy Wood's been saying some crazy stuff recently, but I'm still a fan of hers. She's a hottie in her 60s or 50s. I don't know. Anyway, what I want to talk about next. So I'm recording this on Saturday. Tomorrow, the World Cup. France is playing Argentina for the World Cup. And God, dude, I just want Argentina to lose. And I don't know what it is. I don't know. Maybe it's because like all the Nazis in the past went over to Argentina, which really isn't their fault, right? It's like, oh, my great grandparents were a Nazi, but like, well, I'm not. So it's not their fault. I just think I just don't like them. I don't know why. I think they just weren't very likable, you know. While I was following the World Cup, I even wanted the Netherlands to beat them, and the Netherlands like destroyed the U.S. But I mean, while I'm talking about the World Cup, I don't really care about the World Cup right now. But then it just got me thinking about like soccer and football, and Manchester United is a publicly traded company, and they're currently right now at a market cap about 3.5, ticker symbol MANU. There are rumors that they're trying to go private and sell the team to someone. Reportedly, they say their team's worth about $7 to $8 billion. So there's almost more than double. There's an opportunity to more than double your money in Manchester United. The thing is like, I don't know if anyone's going to pay $7 to $8 billion during a recession, so they might have to be selling at a discount. Also, they haven't made money in a long time; they're just in debt. So yeah, I don't think people would pay that much, honestly. And I mean, I don't even know why I'm talking about buying Manchester United. Like we're in a recession. Like all my stocks are just bleeding right now, and I'm trying to save cash to buy a house maybe soon. Oh shoot, I'm bald. Buy a house soon, or I should be buying better stocks. But like, you know, I'm like a gambling deviant, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm like, oh, maybe there's an opportunity here. Last time I talked about maybe buying UFC. So yeah, if Manchester United goes under $2 billion market cap, I'm gonna be buying some, baby. You know, just to say I can own a piece of soccer royalty in England. I almost wish they would let you like trade and let the public like buy shares of maybe American sports teams. I know like what was it, the Packers? I think are the Packers publicly traded? One of those teams, or the Jets? I don't know. I know the Atlanta Braves is like owned by Formula One, and I know Red Bull owns a bunch of soccer teams around the world, but they're a private company. I'm just like, damn, dude, it would be so fun if you could just. If I could, speaking for myself, if I could like buy shares in like sports clubs, and it would just get me more into sports, kind of like sports betting, which California refused to let us do, refused to let us have fun. But anyway, yeah, well, how do you guys feel about Manchester United, buying Manchester United, GBTC, Bitcoin Trust? Let me know down below, guys. I just recently watched the TV show Andor on Disney Plus, and Andor is fuck. I don't know characters too well, but it's I want to just start off by saying that Andor is like the best Star Wars media they've ever had. Not the best, probably the top. Like out of all the new movies, for sure, it's better than It's better than those. It's better than all the shows. It's not better than Rogue One. I really liked Rogue One, the movie, and this is like a prequel to Rogue One for the other one of the actors, is his name Diego Luna? I think his name is Diego Luna. So it talks about his life before what happens in Rogue One. And let me tell you, dude, there are no Jedi's, there are no lightsabers, and it's just such a great story about in the Star Wars universe. And this is what I think Disney needs to do. They need to make more Andors and less this other bullshit they do. Like even the Boba Fett show, like it was so bad. Like it was so bad. Why no one wants to see a freaking a show about like a couple of 50-year-olds and 60-year-olds like fighting slowly in the Star Wars universe. Nobody cares about that. Sorry. Tongue twisted. Yeah, dude, Boba Fett sucked. Obi-Wan, people thought it was cool. I guess the fight scene between him and Anakin is like pretty cool, but that show overall, it's kind of trash. Like they try to push too much in these shows. They're like, oh, we need to like put a strong female. We need like people of color being represented, which is fine, but you have to do it with a reason. The people care about plot more than just like throwing in like you try to hit all these checklists of diversity, you know what I mean? And then I'm not saying it's bad. You just have so many characters within like 8 episodes. It's just too much. It's not enough time for you to develop all these characters, and just stick with a couple and then like maybe bring them in, but don't put in characters without a good reason for them to be there, like make more of Andor and stop making like Obi-Wan. Mandalorian is not good. Okay, I hate to say it. Mandalorian sucks. Mandalorian, Boba Fett, She-Hulk, the Hawkeye show with like the little kid. Like, stop making those. Like, people, you're just burning money of like stuff that people know. Like, Disney don't care. The people that make it don't care about those shows because it's just a shitty show. Who's it for? Like, nobody likes it. But you make something good like Andor. You know what I mean? They're culturally diverse in the show Andor, but it's a fucking good story. You have to do more of those, okay? I think Disney, in terms of at least streaming, they could learn a lot from Warner Brothers and HBO. Like HBO is just putting out quality content, so people will keep paying for it, right? They don't have the most content, but they have the best content. You don't want to be like Netflix, just printing money and making like shitty shows that you feel are just like hitting like target demographics and people would watch, but honestly, I don't watch most Netflix shows. I just go on and browse once in a while to see if they have a documentary, and I don't even watch them. I just go to Netflix to browse, and I don't use my own account. Surprise. Right? Be less of that. Be less of Netflix. Disney, be more HBO. HBO has what? Game of Thrones, hit. Succession, hit. Right? Even the new Game of Thrones series, House of Dragon is good. And they're doing like the woke stuff too. They're like introducing like a lot of like a whole character or a whole family of who are like of black descent into the show, and it has nothing to, and it's not the same in the books. But guess what? Like in the beginning, it might be kind of weird. You're oh, there's black people here, but after a while, you're like, oh, it's the story is so good that you accept it, right? It's like it doesn't feel like it's just like a gimmick, which like maybe Amazon's was the Lord of the Rings kind of does. I don't know the lore about the Lord of the Rings, but I know they're like in like they're like a Game of Thrones. They're in Europe, so it's kind of weird if you see like a. It is kind of weird in Game of Thrones that you see like a random like Asian soldier. I'm like, where you come from, dude? We don't see you anywhere else. But mostly Game of Thrones is good, but like Lord of the Rings, I don't know about the lore of it. A lot of people are upset at like the diversity or whatever, but overall, I think people just don't like it because the show sucks, the story sucks, the character sucks. But yeah, focus on characters, and then everything else will be okay. I'm an owner of Disney. I want them to succeed, but like I gotta admit it, like their new movies, Phase 4 were hit and misses. Like I really like Shang-Chi. Obviously, I'm biased because I'm Asian, but like the whole last third of the movie is garbage. Like, what are they? They're fighting some fucking monster. Like, make it more realistic. There's no. I just don't care. You know what I mean? I just don't care about them fighting a monster. They'll win. Make more of that. Make more of Black Panther. The first one, the second Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. It's gonna do great. You know what I mean? People freaking love Chadwick Boseman. I do. But the movie was a little overrated. Like, I really don't care much about Namor. It's cool you have like South Americans out there. being represented, but like don't really care about the character too much or the story or the world they're from. Like I'm like I don't want to live underwater. Like at least like for Black Panther, oh Wakanda's cool. I want to live there. Technology is so cool, but they're like, hey, you want to live in underwater and have fins and be blue? No one wants that. But yeah, just make better movies. Doctor Strange, people didn't really like it too much. I liked it, but that's because I'm a huge Doctor Strange fan and a Wanda fan. So I don't know. I think objectively, yeah, the movies were a little bit worse than before. So they really need to turn it around. Like Thor sucked. Thor: Love and Thunder was like straight garbage. So yeah, turn it around, Disney. Like be more like HBO, less like Netflix. Okay, make quality over quantity. You guys had some good shows. I think WandaVision was good. Loki show was good, even though some people hated it. The Captain America one was kind of iffy. I don't know. I'm trying to look back at the Captain America one and the Winter Soldier and Falcon. I think it might have been like too much was going on, but I think they could like really redeem that show. That show was pretty good, but I was like on the fence about it. But yeah, we're about 26 minutes in. I'm gonna keep these short. My last two videos were very, very, very finance focused, but it's kind of what I feel. I've honestly, that's what I feel most comfortable talking about or ranting when I'm by myself. There are new things going on in comedy for me. I might talk about it on the next episode or when I have some guests on, but there are some changes in my comedy career, my open mic career, which I lose tons of money every month. More to that next time. Come to my shows, guys. Come. Actually, I'm gonna big changes. I don't know about the show thing, but like, yeah, support comedy. I'll give you guys more info on what's next. And that, I love you guys. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.